Definitely editing that out. Nobody needs to know that I had that struggle.
Does it help you? Does it make you feel better that we were delighted by it?
It's on an Apple computer, right?
Oh, Philip, what have you done to us?
Listen, guys, listen. Ray, zip it. Not everybody can have a special microphone with a little circular thing with a little pop filter on it.
You're like an AM radio station guy at 3:30 in the morning over there.
Yeah.
Some hot, sexy sounds for your morning drive.
That's right.
I'm gonna slow jam the podcast.
Anyone listening to AM radio anymore?
Mm-hmm.
I occasionally a sporting event.
Okay.
On occasion.
I have been listening to mixtapes because my car that I'm driving has a tape player in it, and I got out all my old mixtapes. And it's pretty fun to hear 14-year-old me trying to make mixtapes. You can hear me in the background like, oh, when I miss it on the radio.
That's when you had to like hope and pray.
You can hear me go like, oh, and try again. Oh, it's funny. Oh my gosh, guys. Well, welcome. It's Tuesday. The sun is shining. The tank is clean. The weather.
It's not Tuesday.
It's Wednesday.
Wow. Hey, Ray. We should have told Philip and Michelle about our secret plan.
Oh.
What's that?
Shirts.
Were you wearing that shirt this morning, Ram?
Yeah, totally accidentally. I had this on because Laura goes, did you and Ray plan that?
Okay.
Shirt bros. Man, it does look good, but you know what it needs is it needs a pink hat from me, and it needs red lipstick from Michelle.
I wore mine on Sunday.
Welcome to Second Take at Eastlake, a podcast of Eastlake Community Church in Irmo, South Carolina. You are invited to join us any Sunday at 9 or 11.
Well, just wait till we start that Eastlake Swag Etsy store, which we're going to need a name for. Maybe it just needs to be called Swag City. Eastlake Swag City.
I was looking at Ray's shirt yesterday, and I just went online and impulsively bought a couple because I like it.
You know what my favorite part of, I'm going to get us a little bit on subject. My favorite part of Sunday, guess what it was?
Baptisms.
Nope.
Cardboard testimonies.
Nope.
No.
Nope. Meeting Michelle's mom in the lobby.
Oh, okay.
Turns out she's not as mean as Michelle makes her out to be.
I do not make my mother out to be mean.
I don't think you've ever made her out to be anything but a wonderful human being, Michelle.
Gee.
Well, I met her in the hallway, and I was scared, from all the things that Michelle has told me that her mother is going to get me. And I was like, somebody's going to take me out the knees. It's going to be like Tanya Harding in the lobby. And then next thing you know, she was the sweetest person ever.
You were scared because of all the trouble you've created for a dog. It has nothing to do with what anybody said.
I don't know. All I'm saying is
my mom never thought that she would be the hidden personality on a podcast. I don't know how this happened, but here she is.
Here she is.
My mom.
I don't know how hidden she is.
Personality.
I don't know how hidden she is.
It's like Santa Claus. Like you talk about it, you hear the legends, but you never really get to meet her. And then when you finally do meet her, it's like, don't look her in the eye. Don't look her in the eye.
Oh my word.
Oh my
Oh,
Oh my gosh. Well, guys, it really was a good Sunday. I'm actually being serious now for the first time in a long time. What was your favorite part? Well, let's just talk about some of the things we loved from Sunday in case you guys missed it.
Can I start with spontaneous baptisms that turned into parents baptizing their children or grandparents baptizing their children, because that is my dream scenario. And I love that Mr. Klontz did his as well. But the spontaneous ones that came out of nowhere were just beautiful.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I got to make eye contact with the lady that went back in the first service to be baptized. I just happened to be looking in her direction when Ray was making the announcement. And literally, as soon as he said, if you want to give it, she looked at her husband and she goes, I'm doing that. She looked at him and goes, I'm doing that, and got up and walked out.
No, she didn't walk. She dead sprinted back to us.
Yeah.
Yes, she did.
I love that. I love that passion. I love the excitement of people wanting to get baptized. That's cool. Anybody else? What was another fun part from Sunday in case our church people missed it? Nothing. Michelle wasn't even excited a little bit about all the cardboard testimonies.
Excited.
Michelle
But
didn't even.
whatever you did to our sound, you knocked off my earbuds. So
I did.
well, they were working before and now they're not working. So
Well,
I
look
got
who's a
earbuds.
boomer.
Yeah.
Michelle,
So
maybe you should
Yeah.
have plugged them in. Maybe you should plug them in.
maybe. I don't know.
Ladies and gentlemen, the common denominator in all of
What are
this
you doing? What are you?
products.
I
So
used to do video. I had one of those mics, and
yeah.
every time I look at you, I'm like, oh my gosh.
Uh,
Not
Well-
Mirror
testimonies. Sam Bolton sent me some still pictures of some of the people, and I was pretty impressed with some of the openness of what people shared on their cardboard testimonies. That was
Yeah.
pretty cool. You see some real life change there. That was exciting. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Really what Celebration Sunday is it is kind of like the ending of a semester, right, Michelle? Wouldn't you it's kind of like that in school, like you've ended the semester. And these are some of the stories that have come out of people who have decided to enter into discipleship, be it rooted or marriage mentoring or things like that. And these are the things that God's doing in their life. And then baptisms just from people learning about Jesus over the last couple of months. It's just cool.
It's
It's
very
cool.
cool.
I think it is a really neat time for our people to have the opportunity to see what God has been doing. So on staff, we get to see that all the time.
Yeah.
But our people don't always have an understanding of how God is at work in our body. And I think that's what I love about Celebration Sunday is it gives them a little peek into some of the things God's doing. Because every day we have stories about how God's working at Eastlake, but we don't get to share them every day.
Mhm.
So
Yeah. You know what? Speaking of that, there is a story that went out this week from the Watts family that's pretty cool. And sometimes the algorithm of social media won't show videos to everybody, maybe because they're longer than the social media algorithm wants to put in front of you. So you might not have seen it, but if you go to our Eastlake Facebook page, check out the Watts story of marriage mentoring. They were a couple. I won't give the whole thing away, but they were a couple that were kind of considering being mentors and not really thinking they wanted to go through mentoring necessarily, but then decided to do it and discovered some really cool tricks and things that were beneficial, made friends along the way. Just some pretty cool stuff. So the whole story is available through a link on that post, but check that out. Basically, what we're trying to say is God has been really good in so many people's lives, and we get to celebrate it. It's
We
like
do.
easy. You want to know what my favorite part of Sunday was? Thanks for asking. Other than
Yes,
getting to
sir.
meet, other than getting to meet Michelle's mom,
Yeah.
I went to a rehearsal on Sunday night for the community service. And the rehearsal was at Gateway Church, which is where we're going to be hosting the community Good Friday service. And my favorite part was seeing all of our music team members show up, and the joy and just the laughter and the friendships, like the way it felt to see them walking into this group of musicians from all around town. I just felt like this is my people, these are my family, and I was real proud. I told them I was like a proud dad. They brought me joy. That was one of my like little secret hidden favorite parts of Sunday that brought me a lot of happiness. I just love it. It's like you get to show your team off to all the other musicians in town and be like, hey, these people are with me. I'm with these people.
Well, we have the best. That's just all there is to it.
Well,
So
I think so. I mean, I would challenge it to a competition, but I get unhealthily competitive, so I won't. But
No, you do not.
yeah, I do. And plus I usually
Well,
lose, which is no fun.
and we don't want to encourage you to trash talk any other like
No.
worship
Yeah,
pastors. So
I-
that would be bad.
Our people
Yeah.
are known. That's why they're our favorites. We know them well.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love it. Okay, so this last Sunday was really cool too. This was the end of the Exodus series part 2, right, Ray? That was the
Yep.
end. So no more reading in Exodus for another year. You can't even look at it. Just kidding. No, but that was the end of the series. But Ray wrapped it up with a really cool thing. And if I'm honest, I feel like this theme has been there throughout this portion, excuse me, of scripture of rest and Sabbath. I feel like that theme has been coming up numerous times, but Ray, did you have any thoughts on it, or were you excited about getting to teach it, or was it easy to teach, hard to teach? I'm curious.
It was all of the above. Because, like you said, when I started the series, when I knew we were starting the series, I didn't necessarily see the forest for the trees, that this theme of rest woven throughout it. But when I got to the end, I realized in him extending to us, starting back at week 1, when he extended to us an invitation to enter into relationship with him, he gave us the boundaries in which that relationship would exist. And one of the things in being in relationship with God is you got to let me be God. And in order for me to be that, I need one day from you to prove to you, to remind you that I'm God and you're not.
Come on.
And that's what excited me about closing the series on Sunday, because I had that epiphanal moment that, oh, you're going to tell us again that we need to rest.
Yep.
And that you gifted us. The beauty of this the closing was, hey, I gifted you to do the work that I'm calling you to do. You don't have to be trained about this. I'm downloading into you wisdom and understanding, and all I need you to do is take one day and rest.
Mm-hmm. It's good.
Simple.
It's like, have you ever gone a night where you thought you plugged your phone in and maybe it wasn't plugged in or something, and then the rest of the day you're like trying to get little amounts of charge on your phone every time you sit still just to make it through the day? I thought about that when you were teaching. I was like, that would be a cool example, because I know I do that. And you're like, oh, I'm in the red. I got 10%. Well, I plug in here. I plug in, but it never really is the same as going throughout your whole day knowing you have enough. All is good. You got the charge. You got what you need. It's been downloaded. Your updates are updated. Everything's good. Let's roll. Yeah.
You know, I love what you said, Ray. It might be great insight for those that don't regularly prepare sermons or sermon series. We who prepare these things, like Ray laid out this plan for us in teaching team over a year ago plus. I lay out things for parents and for students. I've been doing it for 30 years. I've been laying out master teaching plans. We don't always know everything God's going to show us when we think we've got a roadmap. So it's like this theme of this past like 8 to 10 weeks has been different than I think any of us anticipated. And it has been present unintentionally by us in every message along the way. Even as I spoke on slavery and then I spoke on priests, there was touch points that God put in about the purpose of the rules he was giving were about rest in him. You know, and so I think that that's really cool for people to realize. Sometimes you're going to be on a journey in the Bible and you're going to think you're going to learn this and he's going to teach you that.
Yeah.
And that's what's cool about his word being alive and active. Feels like one of those, the youth pastor in me is like, don't miss what Ray said about he thought this and God showed him that.
Yeah.
Because that's a really integral part of our faith in our journey. Sorry, Philip.
No, I love it. I think it's great. I think that there's a lot of people. Well, I had a conversation, and I think this reflects the thoughts of other people as well, of like how prone we are to, in the empty spaces in our lives, to fill them. Like a lot of times we don't even know how to get in the car without turning on music. I mean, I know music can be an inspiring thing too, but like the inability to just rest. And the thing that Ray just said a second ago is to just have a moment where you remember that God is enough. And a lot of times we don't even stop our noise in the day enough to even feel that. I did it today. I went to the Lizard's Thicket for lunch. It's a weird name. I don't really know what a thicket is. I went there. It's just interesting. I've never really experienced many thickets. But the Lizard's Thicket is right down the road from my house. So I went there. But anyways.
Why?
Family.
You could have had salad and lasagna. I tried to feed you.
Why?
I know. Well, I got a call that said we're going to the thicket. And I was like, I don't know that sounds tasteful. But anyways, I went to the thicket and it was a little weird. It's a little weird. It wasn't horrible, but it was kind of just like, yeah, I don't know. I shouldn't be hating on the thicket. It's just the name. The food's fine. The name, that's weird, guys. It's a Southern thing that would not fly anywhere else. I'm sorry.
The food is not good.
Philip, you should go find my review on Lizard's Thicket.
The food is not fun.
You have one.
I don't.
It's not fun.
Okay, that's the point.
Oh, now I feel bad for the thicket.
It was
a chain of restaurants. They're doing just okay.
Yeah.
This isn't a mom and pop organization, but that food, no, sir.
That was where I first learned that macaroni and cheese was a vegetable.
No kidding. It's on their vegetable list.
And Jello.
And Jello.
Jello.
Yeah.
And then they got fruit on the vegetable list.
Just show me the garden that Jello grows in, and I'll be okay.
Sorry.
Show me the garden that has a Lizard's Thicket. What is that? It sounds gross.
I think it is like bushes that are grown close together. It's like low undergrowth.
It sounds like a lizard's armpit to me. Yeah, a thicket is not.
Lizards are found in thickets oftentimes. That's where that's coming.
Oh, so like the lizard owns the thicket. It's not like this is a part of the lizard.
No, it's not part of the lizard.
Oh,
when we moved here, my daughter, we went to Lizard's Thicket because you got to do it. You're new. You got to figure out what these things are, right? So we went to Lizard's Thicket. We evidently told the kids before we were going where we were going. Abby was terrified that we were having lizards for dinner. She was terrified. I never knew this till she was an adult. Yeah, she thought we were going, I don't know, lizards on a stick.
I would love to be a fly on the wall in that marketing meeting where they're like, we've been throwing out a couple names, Lizard's Thicket, and everybody goes by and puts a check by it and says, that's the one, the Lizard's Thicket.
The only food that you can eat there and not regret it later from personal experience is some of their breakfasts.
Okay.
Outside of breakfast, I don't recommend it, and they can sue me.
Going back for, anyways, the whole point of
We
this
digress.
story, guys, I had a real big spiritual point about the lizard's thicket. And that
Okay.
was that we were talking about Sabbath. You guys remember that? We were talking about Sabbath. And I intentionally had some moment in my car, and I was like, instead of turning on the music, instead of doing some of these different things, I'm going to roll down my windows and I'm just going to take in the beautiful day that God has provided. Remember all of his mercy and blessings in my life and everything, and had a little bit of time just to really enjoy that. So actually, I was having a spiritual moment on my way to the thicket, just so you know. I call it the thicket because I frequent there enough that I got a slang term for it. But anyways, okay, listen, I have a big question for Michelle. Let's put
No.
let's put Michelle in the hot seat and see if she
I
does
did
it.
not preach on Sunday. What is this about?
No, let's see if you know, if you have wisdom today, Michelle. So
No,
you have gone through and you're getting close to graduating, right?
that's true. Hmm.
Michelle's getting close to graduating with
Yeah.
master. What are you going to be? Do we have to call you doctor?
No, I did not. I did not get a PhD. No, no doctor.
What are
I'm
you going to be?
tempted because that would be fun. I'm just
Oh,
going to be Pastor Michelle. So, yeah,
with some abbreviations beside your name.
with some extra credentials.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the
Okay.
question then. You've been doing full-time ministry, pastoring, which is a big deal. You've been doing schooling. You've been doing raising kids because they haven't raised themselves. And I'm now learning, now that I'm starting to have adult kids, they're still kids.
Yes.
Yeah, then they're always there. They're just right there, Michelle.
Yeah.
But I'm curious, is there any secret that you have found in maintaining a Sabbath while doing the things that God has called you to do? Because you're not going to school for fun. This is something God's called you to do. So God has clearly put some things on your plate. How do you manage
Yeah.
the things that he's put on your plate, but also knowing that you need to rest?
Yeah. Well, one of the things is, you make an intentional decision. I do something called calendar blocking. And so I have a day that I study, and that's my study day for school. And if I can't get it done in that day, then I may not get it done because it can't bleed over into a lot of other times. And then I generally take my day off is Friday because we all work Sundays. And so we take another day off. But I try to have my Sabbath on Saturday because for me, my Sabbath includes my family. They don't live with me anymore. And so I want to have a meal with them or something else. But some days we have ministry. And so there are days when I have to take my Sabbath at a different time. So one is, be flexible so that you get your rest, but also, try to intentionally devote specific things at specific times. And sometimes you got to let things go. So in this class, I am probably going to end up with a B. And I know, oh no. Yeah. So I could have done on Saturday, I could have done an extra credit paper. But if I had done that, I would not have had rest and time with my family. And so I said, well, Lord, I can't do that. And so I'm going to have to trust you with the grade. So hopefully I'll still maintain my B. But yeah. So those things, got to let stuff go.
That's
C's get degrees.
Huh?
C's get degrees. That's all you need.
Right.
a D got me a degree in political science. I got a D. The only grade that I got that was my lowest grade in college was the class I took with Kristen because we were both goofing
distracted.
Yeah. And we both showed up the day of the final and they handed out the final exam. And I looked at her and she looked at me like, did you know this was coming? Neither one of us knew it was coming.
Well, I am not dating anybody in my college classes, so that has not been a problem.
Wow, Michelle. I don't know. You never know. Semester's not over yet.
Uh,
Okay. Um, okay. I'm curious for you guys. What are some things that I think people would enjoy hearing this just in general? What are some things that you like to do on a Sabbath that you would say these things remind me that God is God? These things recharge the batteries. These things check all those boxes that God is trying to say we need checked in our lives. What is some things that you really enjoy that you can't wait to do, or just tell us more?
It's funny to me because people hear Sabbath, myself included, until the last 5 or 10 years, and think that it means do nothing.
Yeah.
And it does not mean that. At least I don't believe that as God would describe it. Because it is probably, if I'm being candid, my most active physical day of the week. Because for me, Sabbath looks like a lot of walking around in the creation with podcasts and music and silence. It's like somebody came up to me after the service all nervous that they had yard work planned and they felt like that was going to be a violation of the Sabbath. Okay, Sabbath is about physical rest. I do that. I sleep in some on that day too. But Sabbath is about focusing on God and not other things. So if doing yard work allows you to focus your heart on God, go do the yard work. For me, that happens best in a walking, in honestly, a hiking, walking, running environment. I have my highest step count day on my rest day because I don't have any place else to be. I don't have to worry about getting to the meeting. And so I just head out walking. One day, Jenny was looking for me after 3 hours. She didn't know where I went. I literally wandered off.
Yeah.
And it was, and I didn't even know where I was going. I ended up in a neighborhood, almost your neighborhood, Michelle, 2 neighborhoods down from me, just wandering around the streets.
It's like one day Rob shows back up and he's got this beard this big. We're like, where have you been, Rob? He's like Forrest Gump. I was
like,
walking.
I didn't know where you went, but I wasn't worried about it because the kids weren't home.
Yeah, I love that though. Yeah, taking a walk, being active, doing the things that, yeah, that's cool, Rob. I like that.
I don't have a meeting to go to. So
yeah.
I'm gonna tell you something that's pretty cool. That shows you the faithfulness of God. So since I preached on Sunday and I talked about how we be out in the streets, and on Monday morning, which is my day of rest, I slept in just like Rob talked about. I got up and I've been having this issue with my car. And so I took it to the automotive person, and he literally walks out to my car while I'm sitting in the lobby. He has a tool in his pocket that he fixes a problem that I've been having for months. And I mean it, months. He walks me outside, tells me everything is okay. I asked him, what did he do? He showed me. He told me, have a blessed day. Cost me nothing.
Wow.
Okay. So I leave from there. And at this time, it's like 10 o'clock. Where do I go? I go to Costco. Because I be in them Costco streets, and I talked about this. So I'm in Costco. I'm in Costco, and Philip, I'm not like you. I'm not licking the floor. I wait to get samples. And so I am literally walking through Costco, and as I'm walking through Costco, who do I run into? Dave Hall. Dave Hall is like, you really do be in Costco. I said, I sure do. And so as I'm walking around Costco, I'm on a scavenger hunt. Why a scavenger hunt? Because sometimes when you're going through Costco, there'll be stuff put in places that it doesn't belong.
Oh yeah.
So I take the stuff, put it in my cart, and now I gotta find out where does it actually belong. So I'm putting stuff back. And the lady's like, what are you doing? I was like, well, this was back in the detergent area, and this is margarita mix. It don't belong back there. And she said, so what are you doing with it? I said, I'm going to put it where it belongs. I'm just trying to look to see where it goes. She didn't know. She says, well, thank you. I said, no, it's fun for me. I don't have any place to be, nothing to do. While I'm doing this, who else do I run into? Lynn Hall and all of her family from Ohio. And they're like, what are you doing here? I said, did you not listen to the message yesterday? It's like, oh, that's right. You be in the Costco streets. Listen. And here's the good part. I left Costco without spending over $100.
Whoa, whoa, whoa,
Woohoo!
whoa,
That
whoa,
never happens.
whoa.
One of these days, one of you is going to take me to Costco because I've never been in one.
What?
Never been in one.
You've never been in a Costco?
Nope.
It's like the wholesale Garden of Eden.
I hear that, but I'm too cheap to pay, we have a family business membership at Sam's, so I've never been to Costco.
Well, let me say this. I know we're here to talk about Sabbath, but let me help you out. You get the executive membership, which costs more money, but also you get a refund at the end of the year based on what you're going to spend anyway. And we've never gotten less back than we paid for the membership ever. And we only buy what we would normally buy.
Pro tip. Yeah, but I live by myself, so I don't know how much Costco stuff I need. But, I'm just saying, one of you needs to take me with you.
You think all that toilet paper came from?
I can tell you what we would do. So what we're going to do for a podcast is we're going to go live with Michelle in Costco. We're going to test out their outdoor furniture, which is my favorite thing to do.
Ooh,
we're going to try all the furniture.
We can have the Watts units there. They work there.
Yeah.
We're going
I need some Chase lounges for my house.
If you were to buy Chase lounges for your house, you would almost get your money back for the membership.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Game on, Philip.
All right. We're going to do that. And Michelle meets Costco. We're going to get matching t-shirts and everything.
So Michelle, what do you do on your day of rest?
I sleep in. Also, I do not have an alarm on, which I really like. And then I journal. I have a specific template that I use on my Sabbath that I kind of review my week, and I check myself, like, do I have any feelings of resentment? Is there anything that I need to deal with?
Oh my gosh,
because
Michelle,
I don't do
so
that
good
every
at
day.
this.
So I do that. And so the lady that did journaling for us, I have a Sabbath desire. She does a 9 a.m. journaling thing every Saturday morning. And I have an alarm set. And one Saturday soon, I'm going to be able to do that. This Saturday, I had family here. But I like to take a walk with my friend Heather. I like to work in my garden. Right now, I'm constructing my garden beds, which I'm very excited about. Everybody's like, have you planted anything yet? I'm like, no, I haven't. I'm still
Michelle,
building the beds. I don't have a lot of time.
Even I've planted things.
Kenny's getting ready to plant pots she might need to call you for some help.
Michelle,
well, I know, but I
up.
have 50 feet of garden. It's really 100 feet because I'm going to have one flowers and one, times 2 or 3 feet across. When I have this dirt delivered, I'm having it delivered one time. So I'm having fun. I'm
gardening
out there.
It's fun. We're talking about your Sabbath. I'm sorry, I tried to stress out your Sabbath. Keep going.
Yeah,
that was our bad. That was our bad.
Right. I'm just taking it as it comes. I try to have a meal with my family, and I eat Chinese takeout because then I don't have to cook.
I like that. That's nice.
That's my Sabbath. Me and Jesus and my family, and the flora and fauna.
Yeah. A cool thing to do for you guys who are listening is to kind of like, if you could do a little bit of a self-assessment and just kind of rate yourself on like 1 to 10 or 1 to whatever, of just where do you feel like you're at in your charge of the Holy Spirit and God's presence in your life? Do you feel like you're surviving? Do you feel like you're just one thing away from cracking and breaking? Or do you feel like you're a great shock absorber for the world in which you live, and you feel like the Spirit of God is flowing through you? And that would be a good place to kind of start on whether or not you're getting that rest too. I do that at least sometimes, and most of the time I'm doing pretty good. But I'll be honest with you guys, just being frank, this last Sunday, a lot of things came at me at once, and I was overwhelmed by an innumerous amount of things that were coming at me. And it was interesting because a close friend of mine even said, Philip, you're not yourself today. in that afternoon, I went back and went right to sleep. I was like, we need some sleep. We need some sleep. And then I had a rehearsal that night. But you can ignore the signs, and I think Ray kind of talked about that. You can ignore the signs or you can listen to them, but God will get through to you. A great question would be, what gift or gifts has God gifted you guys? Do you remember when Ray was talking about how sometimes he will just, the Holy Spirit will provide you with something that you're like, this is God in me, this is not me, this is God in me. Is there anything like that that you guys would say, okay, I can point to that?
I feel like God's given me an ability, and I've cultivated this too, to read people in circumstances, and to be able to provide feedback based on what I see. And so sometimes when I'm talking with somebody or counseling with somebody, sometimes with you guys, sometimes by myself, I just feel like God gives insights, or the ability to ask questions that maybe I wouldn't think of. So
Yeah.
today I met with 2 brand new small group leaders. And so, I was asking them both about what are you most concerned about leading? What questions do you have? And just keep probing until you feel like, we arrived. This is something that maybe we need to talk about. So that's a gift from God.
That is a gift from God.
I was very insecure. So this is mine, in all honesty, and it did come overnight for me once I got called into ministry. Now I've gotten better at it as a skill. I could not speak to crowds. I could not speak in front of people.
I didn't know that.
I could not do it. I was in the drama ministry. I was in the drama at my high school, but I was behind the scenes. I was a singer, but I was always in the groups, and I was always asked to move to the front, and I didn't. I seized up in front of groups of people whenever I would try to speak. When I became a believer, a follower of Christ, and then I felt the call into ministry, it was like almost overnight I could speak. Now, it's taken years to refine that and polish it, which God has done, but I lost the fear of standing in front of people, and I was a decently gifted speaker from the very beginning after not ever being able to do it before.
That's cool. What about you, Ray?
He's the pit master.
Well, yeah, I did talk about me being connected to the Levitical order.
You sure did.
That is a gift. No, you know what? I think he gave me boldness because in school, I would say most of my elementary, middle, and I would say at least half of high school years, I was bullied. And most of it wasn't around being fighting because they wouldn't fight me. I had a reputation about me about that, but they would bully me because I was a chubby, pudgy kid, and so my clothes didn't look like everybody else's. And so I didn't have a lot of designer stuff because they don't make a lot of designer stuff for kids my size. I mean, we used to go to J.C. Penney or Sears to go school shopping, which I hated because we had to go to the Husky section. If you know what that is. And that meant that my pants would have to be hemmed and taken up because my legs wasn't as long as the wideness of my body. I just hated it. And at some point, in I'm probably a sophomore, God gifted me with the spirit of, I don't care. I don't care what you say about me. I don't care what you think about me. I love me. And because it was once that happened, then I just leveled up on everything.
Yep.
I leveled up on my ability to love people, even though they were treating me like crap. I leveled up on being able to look past differences that I had with people. And I had this boldness to just say what was ever on my mind. I was class president for 4 years. So while being bullied and picked on, they nominated me as their president and elected me every year. So that's one of the gifts, just boldness, because I don't know where it came from other than him.
Crazy people. Crazy people.
Yeah, they were.
That's really cool. I like that.
What
I
about
like
you?
that.
Yeah, Philip, what about you?
I think there's been a lot of things like over the years when I first became a believer, definitely this ability to be in front of people came out of nowhere because I was very shy, very bullied, very quiet. I mean, there's videos that people have shown me of me at things just looking like sad, angry, you know, whatever, and like adult leaders trying to help me along, like, hey, you can have fun too, you know, like, and I just wasn't. So becoming a believer, I became very outgoing. But probably the one that's newest that I'm seeing that God is equipping me with is this like chameleon ability. Sounds like a superhero. Um, but like to match the personality, energy, or relational piece of different types of people. So to be loud and boisterous with loud and boisterous people, to be introspective with introspective people, to kind of be able to meet them where they're at. Kristen laughs because whenever I'm working early in the mornings with her at the drive-through, I know everybody. I mean, in an hour, I could see 30 people and have 30 different conversations about completely different topics, from country music to, you know, did you hear the new electrical plants doing, you know, like everything. Like I just adapt and chameleon to what they care about and being able to kind of fit in with different personalities. And I think that's new. I think that's a new thing that God's doing. Maybe it's always been there, but I'm noticing it more now.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Because you can put people at ease that way, I imagine. That
and just make conversation with them wherever they're at. But I see that in other people too. That's not just unique to me, but I'm noticing that I'm seeing that a lot, and I think it's a cool thing, and now I'm proud of it. I'm like, look at you, God, you're not done with me, you're just getting started. But yeah, God energizes us and fills us up with the things we need. You know, another thing too that I think all of us have that God gives us, I sense a lot of joy in this staff. I mean, I feel like I spend a lot of time laughing with you guys, like an abnormal amount of laughter. It's not that we're always laughing. There's definitely times we're not, but overall, I feel like there's a lot of joy that God presents. And that might even be to Eastlake as a whole, because I'm seeing it all around me with our teams and our conversations and lunches and coffees. I feel like I'm surrounded by joyful people doing joyful things.
Yeah.
So,
I agree.
yeah.
Cool.
That's definitely something we can conjure up. It is a God-given thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. So it's the fruits of the Spirit, the things that the Spirit is doing in you and growing in you. That's like, that's not me. It's definitely not me. That's cool. Was there anything else, Ray, on this message that you kind of thought, man, I wish I could dig in here? Or not even, you know what, not even just this message. And this really, let's open this up to everybody. But in this series as a whole, as we've gone through it, anything that you're like, oh, I wish we could have touched this, or I can't wait to get to this. Is there anything that was left on the chopping room floor? Is that what it's called?
I wish I could have spent more time in Exodus 21 and 22 on the treatment of women. God had taken me in one direction, and I certainly touched on it. But I think I understand your question to be like, what do we wish we could dig deeper into?
Yeah,
I'm looking
totally.
to figure out how to further that conversation. I was able to do it, but nowhere near to the level I wanted to, because God, the Spirit, gave me directions on which of those two sections to spend the most time on that day. But yeah, because I think what I loved about the whole series is we dove into those kind of topics, though. We really did wrestle with some tough stuff in this series.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Anybody else? You don't have to have anything. Say that again, Ray. I'm sorry.
Well, I can say this because everybody will forget it, because it'll be next year when we pick it up. so I went through, I did this last year. I went through this like little grieving stage of realizing that the series was over. And it was like, it was just getting good. And then, it goes all the way back down again. Then you get into it and you're like, oh my gosh. And the really cool thing is where we will start in February of next year. So Moses has now come down with the 2 tablets that will eventually go into the Ark of the Covenant. But when he comes down off of the mountain, remember, God has told him how this tabernacle and all the furnishings are going to be built. And so there's this like climactic moment. And Moses comes down off of the mountain, and the people are using the gifts that God has given them to do things that are not honoring him. And so where we will begin next year is with the reality that everybody in the room has been gifted by God to do things, to glorify him, to point other people to him. And the question we all have to wrestle with is, are we using those gifts to make idols for ourselves?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm excited about that.
I got to think about that all the way until next February.
But you're not. There's going to be so much other stuff that's going to happen.
I'm never sleeping again. I'm going to sit on that cliffhanger for literally a year. Thanks, Ray. My life is ruined.
Yeah, that's going to make it into my next sermon now because it's on the top of my head. Oh, there yet.
Yeah. I love it. What about you, Michelle? Is there any, you don't have to have anything, but I'm just curious.
No, I don't think. I'm sure there were some things in the message I was supposed to preach, but I remember being really happy with what Rob brought. And so I don't know, I'd have to go back to my notes and look. Cool. I was surprised how much Sabbath came up too, because that was part of what I have really felt like for the last year or two God has been focusing on. And so I feel like we covered that pretty well. Yeah.
That's cool.
So
it was everywhere. And guys, I've read Exodus probably 25, 30 times in its entirety, just over my years of just on my Christian walk and my pastoral walk. I don't ever remember catching this much focus on Sabbath, but it's there. And so as we started, keep reading your Bibles because you're going to get something new every time. And it's not you're getting something new that's being made up the next time you read it. It's just God's got you focused on one thing the first time through, another thing the second time through. And it's like you pick up these little guideposts that you never found before. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is. That's one of my favorite things about scripture. I have quiet time almost every morning. And I will read passages and my first arrogant thought will be like, oh, I've read this when it comes up. Oh, I know. And then it's like, nope, you don't know it like this. And God just does cool things. And I'm like, look at you, God. All right, let's do this. Let's dance. I love it.
I think the difference with the Bible is, we read all books, but the Bible, it feels like it reads us sometimes.
Yeah.
We open it and it's just like, oh, that was really for me, God, today.
Yeah. Yep. So let that be an encouragement too for our listeners to make sure that you are reading scripture and doing things like the book of Exodus. Not everybody goes and just jumps right into Exodus or some of these other books, but you just never know what God is going to do. And a lot of times, okay, I'm speaking really from my own personality here, but we won't jump into them because it seems like too much. It seems too big. But just bite off little bite-sized pieces and be surprised at how interesting God makes it. That's what I find is God just illuminates the story that I think, because of my arrogance, I think I know what it's going to be. And then God illuminates it in such a cool way. And so just give God a chance in your quiet times with just the Bible. It doesn't have to be anything else. I mean, it can be other things, but just the Bible. Just read it. It's a beautiful thing, and it's so powerful. I love that. Okay, one last thing, and then we'll wrap this sucker up. And that is Easter. Let's talk a little bit about Easter Sunday that's coming. Are we doing like 10 services, 20, 30? Are we blocking off the streets? Is there a parade? Fireworks, pyrotechnics?
That's not the money. That's a 2.
Oh, 2 services. What times? Like 7, 5:30 in the morning, sunrise?
We're not trying to kill our volunteers. 9 and 11, normal time. And we already got a surprise for you if you're attending the first service.
Oh yeah, that will be fun. That's gonna be really good. And I know for me,
no one's gonna be in the second service now. First service is gonna be out the door because we said it's a surprise.
Oh yeah.
It's a pretty cool story. Pretty cool story.
Yeah, I know the message is gonna be awesome, what Ray has shared. And for me, as the worship pastor, I see Easter and Christmas as just, it's a party. It's a celebration where you get the family together. We're going to have all of our music team, as many people as we can possibly use to give glory to God. And it's going to be in fun ways, creative ways, and just, I plan on smiling from beginning to end and just celebrating what God has done. I'm actually serious. I love Easter. There was a time where Easter for me as a worship pastor was about trying to be impressive. Let's show them what we can do, everybody. Bring out the lasers. And now
have a whole
Easter outfit?
Yes.
You got an Easter outfit for this Easter?
Yes.
Oh, you didn't hear this?
Get ready, people. Don't tell them.
It's Easter.
Okay.
Don't tell them.
So now, good news. Both services, there's a surprise in both services now.
Yeah. 2 in the first, but still 1 in the second.
That one is worth it.
That's it. I'm breaking out the ultimate Easter. So if a Texas tuxedo is a denim jacket with denim pants, I'm going to break out the Easter outfit, which is going to be linen on linen. I'm going to look like I just rolled off the beach. I probably won't
let them know, Ray. Keep it a secret.
Won't wear shoes. Yeah. Oh, Ray's going to get it. Anyway, so that's Easter Sunday, guys. It's going to be a big celebration. A lot of fun. Is Ray changing clothes? Oh, wow.
Don't show him anymore, Ray.
Oh, Ray. It's all white. That makes me want to wear all white too.
Philip, you weren't in the room when he told us it was during prayer.
I think I do remember now. Yeah, I do remember now. I won't say anything, but yeah, so we're all going to come.
That's not what I'm wearing, but it's in that vein. That was a pinstriped cream, lavender, and mint green suit jacket.
Oh, maybe next year.
With a lavender vest underneath it. That's not what I'm wearing.
Woo.
But I got an Easter outfit.
Woo. Maybe next year what we should do is because everybody gets dressed up. It's fun to see everybody in their little thingy things. And maybe we should do a contest on Easter Sunday with the best dress and let people come in their Easter best. I would love that. I love a good contest.
Hi, June.
Michelle, you gonna have ruffle socks on Sunday?
I don't know what I'm wearing for Easter. I don't have time to shop.
Michelle's
June
trying to do her
wear. Yeah.
Baby Yoda right behind me.
Baby Yoda.
You guys are too hard on Michelle.
Yes.
In her hair, and patent leather shoes.
Yeah, if it's not on sale at Sam's Club, I probably don't have time to get it.
That's it, Michelle. All right, I'm taking Michelle to the van store. We're gonna get Michelle some California swag. For Easter. Oh, that would be awesome.
A biker outfit for Easter.
Ooh, I like that. That'd be cool. With a little pocket for her cigarette.
Leather for Easter.
I have resisted for 3 years, Michelle. I had to get one.
I noticed that, Rob. I was about to say you don't usually
that
go
was
there.
Cruel. That was cruel, Rob.
Not a trend. It's not a trend.
Yeah.
I can't believe you. Can't believe you. All right, guys. Well, we got to sign off. It's been too long, but we love everybody. We'll see you for Easter, the greatest celebration of the year. See you later.
Yes.
See you June.
Eastlake Community Church is an intentional, multicultural community empowered by the Holy Spirit. We passionately pursue a loving relationship with God and everyone Jesus was sent to die for, here, near,